So last time I had gotten to this.
Yes.
The Fog Rift Catacombs. I had reached, and I have not gone through here, done anything that you guys haven't seen. So we're gonna do a catacomb and answer questions.
Yep.
And make sure that there's not something down there.
I will say, I think a question everyone's wondering is, what was the hardest Soul Level 1 boss?
It was Horalu was the hardest Soul Level 1 boss for me.
Okay.
What do we got? Oh, I think I saw one of these last time.
Yes, it was right at the end, the weird, jumpy ones.
Yeah. So it was hard because, number one, like for the rest of Soul Level 1, I went and I got level 25 weapons before I fought most of the bosses, right?
Right.
And so the bosses kind of catch up to you in there's a trap in here. Oh, hey, it's a new kind of trap. Yeah, okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And so I thought it would be the Dog Man. But, okay, I gotta go right over there. Can I go on top of this one? No, I don't think I can go on top of that one. So, I thought it'd be the Dog Man. Yeah, go ahead. I thought it'd be the Dog Man, but it wasn't him. I was able to poison, but while running around columns and things like that, and get him, not poisoned, but scarlet rotted.
Oh, okay. And for those wondering, he's talking about Malekith.
Malekith, yeah. And then his second one, I just learned how to dodge, which I really had never done before. I thought he'd be the hardest because in my first playthrough, he was the hardest.
What was the inspiration for Taravangian? Where was the smart, dumb kind of idea coming from?
The thing I can think of that was the first inspiration was my brother. Actually, with that sword. So when my brother was born, when he was young, he had these. He was non-verbal at ages where they thought he should be verbal. He wasn't learning to speak. And they thought, maybe he's neurodivergent, maybe he's handicapped, and turns out he just couldn't hear. He had something with his ears. Oh, wow. That guy got me. He had something with his ears that made it difficult for him to hear.
Gotcha.
And so I kind of imagined how it would be to grow up with people thinking that you were mentally handicapped, when in truth you had a different kind of handicap, and so people weren't able to. Those guys kill me at 2. Yeah, we're just gonna run past this and get our runes. And so, yeah, it's. I'm like, what if that? And I think you have to remind me in Way of Kings Prime. People, I think that's just kind of how he was. I don't know if I had he gets smarter. I think he was just pretending to be that he'd learned. Oh, people underestimate me because they thought when I was young that I couldn't, And because people underestimated him, he just got in the habit of letting them do so, right? And so that's where he started, and I'm honestly not sure where I got the smart dumb thing. I knew I was building the old magic, and I wanted interesting ways that people had to, but blessings and curses. I was building what kind of some ultimate plans of some people in the Stormlight Archive were, so to speak. And so after doing that, I came up with Taravangian, and I really liked how it read.
Planning a book, right? You have the events that you're like, I want to write this, this, and this. When in outlining or starting an outline, how have you found, okay, I have X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
I need A, B, C to get to there.
Right. This is a matter of learning about plot, progress, and payoff, right? So you want to have identify what your payoff is going to be. And you want to give a right promise, progress, payoff at the beginning of that.
Mm-hmm.
And so you give this early promise of what the story is going to be. You then identify, all right, what type of plot am I? If my payoff for this plot structure is going to be a big discovery, then I'm working by a some sort of information plot. Yeah. And so you identify your type of plot, right? And you then get good at doling out like those things. And it might not be information, right? It might be, all right, my plot is a relationship. These two are coming to get along, right? It doesn't have to be romantic, but they're coming to get along. What are people saying? Be wary of right, okay? Yeah, I'm just going to assume there's two of them that you are. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
There it is.
Good job. Oh, he didn't come out. And then you in my outline, I kind of dole that out, right? I'm like, all right, these are the things I'm going to do. Oh, look at that. Okay, and not that scary. Probably hits hard, though. He is from the Church of Bonk. I approve. Well done. Well, I love your weapon. You are a fellow member of the Church of Bonk. This is how we greet each other. Then you kind of dole it out, like I said. You say, all right, what do we got? Oh, cool.
Very nice.
Seek up. Seek up.
The hidden door. Oh. Hidden door?
No. Nope. Unless it's somewhere else. So, and then what you're learning is all right, how do I feed information to the reader so that each step of the way, they feel like it's natural, but they're having the emotions, the reaction that you want them to. And so, you're trying to lead people's attention in the right way. And that's just kind of how you do it.
Okay. I think it'd be good. What makes one an acceptable member of the Church of Bonk?
The Church of the Bonk. Well, everybody's acceptable. Everyone, it depends on how much you get bonked or how much you bonk. Like these guys, I don't know. Now he's a good member of the Church of Bonk. He had to be converted. But it depends on if you've got a nice weapon for bonking, and you're already a member of the Church of Bonk. If you've been bonking people, okay, this one doesn't go all the way up and kill me from there. All right, now I have to do the hard part. Now I gotta get down there and not get squished.
The sprint, there's got to be it's right below you.
Yeah. All right.
So for you, Autumn, then yes, I think 2 axes is acceptable. I think it's not weapon dependent.
Is acceptable. Yeah, if I use a sword, then it's acceptable. Now, let's say that Thog would prefer to be using the big hammers. Thog does not have the strength to use the big hammers yet. I think we will see an elevation of Thog over the course of this playthrough. Like he has already learned how to use Cragblade.
True.
And Golden Vow. This is new to Thog, buffing his weapons in that way. But he loves how the rocks stick to it. And I think we're going to need about 60 strength. We're going to be about level 100 before he can hold dual wield the giant hammers. Oh yeah, there's a liar. Someone tried to convince them.
Do Inquisitors fit in the Church of Bonk with their primary choice of weaponry?
The Inquisitors. Yeah. Steel Inquisitors. Yeah. They'd be acceptable. The people that Thog admires the most are the ones that have the giant hammers that he can't hold yet.
Gotcha.
Right? He's only got 41, 42 strength at this point. 2 more, and he can hold 1 of the giant hammers, or 3 more.
So they're wondering how you get ideas to something as large and complex as your stories. But I think, kind of on that, we've discussed on the podcast, you have like 30 stories still.
I have dozens of stories I haven't written.
Right.
Yeah. Ideas are generally, not for every writer. Every writer is different. But for most writers, ideas are the cheap part. They're the easy part. The skill to make those ideas into something, and the skill to identify which of the ideas are good and which ones aren't good, is part of. You actually have to wait in these things because sometimes there's like a little thing to sneak in.
Yeah.
And so ideas are cheap. How do I decide which ideas to write? Now so how do I decide? This is just like the time when I get to start something new. What is exciting to me? And while I'm writing something else, often several things will become exciting to me, and then my excitement will wane a little bit. Or it's what has a deadline, and what if you promise people? Like there are certain things that I've promised people that I am going to do that I know, right? Double check that there's nothing in the ceiling. And I will prep for those, and you can get yourself excited by different things, right? You can, as a writer, at least most writers learn to be like, all right, I know how to get excited. For me, it's like I need to have some space for something and then spend some time plotting it, planning it, getting excited by it again. That's why I don't write a Stormlight book, you know. Why it takes me a little while before he survived my bonk. Wow. That's why I don't write a Stormlight book right after I wrote a Stormlight book. That's why it's going to be a little while before I get to Stormlight, because I just did 5 of those with short gaps for how big those books are between each one.
Right.
And so I will need a few years. All right, and then
deal with the main. Revenge.
Bonk.
Nice.
You have been baptized. See, they disappear sometimes. That means they're going to church. They're like, I have been converted. I'm gonna head to church.
I'm gonna head to church.
Head to church.
Is this are priests or magic users, I should say, the mortal enemy of Thog?
Anybody who won't get up close and bonk, that's a little bit cheating.
Okay.
You know, they need to be converted.
Need to be converted.
Yep. Yeah. If you're using giant axes, Thog gives you a thumbs up.
Okay.
Giant axes totally work. 2 of them, of course, are better than 1.
Right.
Okay.
When does a shield become acceptable?
A shield. I mean, if you're training in the Church of Bonk, and you need a shield, like that's acceptable.
Okay.
Right. Like Thog, shields hit people. They smash people. Thog's okay with shields. You don't have to roll to be in the Church of Bonk. That's you are acceptable under the Church of Bonk.
Gotcha. But to become a true high priest or
well, you got to hold 2 giant weapons, so maybe 2 shields. If you can get 2 of the big shields, then Thog will like that. Oh, boss.
Yeah, big boss vibes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. See, Thog now. Thog has buffs.
Oh,
Thog
I didn't know you got golden vow.
Thog has learned to buff. But he doesn't have one of those left, so.
I mean,
What do we got?
A Death Knight? Jeez.
He doesn't hit very hard, but he is in the Church of Bonk. Oh, he's got lots of hit points, though.
Sweet looking cloak, too.
Yeah, I want that cloak.
Ooh.
Oh, he can teleport.
What?
Oh. Thog's impressed. Thog is very impressed with this man.
Bonk. You might just be able to stun lock him. Oh, never mind.
Never mind, he's got a phase 2.
Oh, and he's in love.
Oh, come on. You healed, and you got all your hit points back, and you auto-killed me?
Jeez.
Come on.
So, here's a good question.
Yeah.
How do you decide which characters to kill off from intricate lyrics? Yeah. And I'll add to that, what characters, or when do you decide to give someone quote-unquote plot armor?
So the characters, those are excellent questions. So what I will generally do when it comes to character death is I'm trying to decide, give the character some volition. What are they legitimately going to do? What do they want to do? Those sorts of things, right? Like, who are they? What would be the consequences in this situation? That said, I'm not writing grimdark, which means that I'm generally not trying to you can imagine it this way. These characters, a story was chosen to be told about them for a purpose, right? And so, in real life, people just die of dysentery randomly. Like, you know, you're Alexander the Great, you're the most important person in the Western world, and you just die of a random disease, right?
Yeah.
That happens. That happens in some sort of grimdark and things. Oh, he doesn't. Dang it. Okay.
Jeez.
Chat. Got it. So I'm asking myself, like, you know, these stories are being told for a purpose. So these generally aren't going to be people who die of dysentery halfway through their story being told. Otherwise, these books wouldn't, you know, if you imagine these as kind of a history that someone's writing of important events and the people involved in them, which is kind of what we pretend, right? Like Stormlight Archive. Someone wrote this down, translated it to English. That's why, if I don't think I mentioned them, but if there's an Ottoman in it, doesn't mean the Ottoman Empire existed. It means that the person who translated into English used the English word. Right?
Oh,
right?
okay.
This is what Tolkien came up with. And, man, I'm going to have to try dodging forward instead of back. My natural inclination is to dodge back because of the jump attacks. You want a little bit of space. But something's up with those attacks. They're just a little too fast for my rhythm to dodge.
And we brought this up last time. Everything in this DLC just has huge combo chains.
Yeah. And so we take that assumption. So there are people that are going to fulfill kind of they're going to have plot arcs. Doesn't mean they're not going to die, but it means that they're going to have plot arcs. So when do I decide, you know, when someone is going to die? Well, that is when their plot arc leads there, if that makes sense. That doesn't always mean, again, doesn't even necessarily mean that it's we're talking about that things are heroic, right? That they're going to have a heroic end.
Right.
Doesn't necessarily mean that. But what it does mean, make it.
Is this no, this is just checkmate.
Yeah. It's another one that I probably needed to be dodging forward on.
I mean, the timing on that is also just you don't have the timing because it's whatever he decides to teleport.
Yeah. So hard to break that muscle memory of dodging back.
For everything.
Because I had the muscle memory for dodging forward in Dark Souls 3, but in this one, the jump attacks have really pushed me to get a little bit of distance.
Gotcha.
And so, we'll see. But so then, when's the plot arc end there? When is their plot armor? Do I feel like they really haven't done what they need to do, right?
Right.
And so, yeah, when do I plot armor? Story's not done yet. Sometimes there's another reason that you would plot armor, and that's if the character living is way more interesting.
Okay.
Right? And generally in books, there are way more fates worse than death.
That's very true.
In storytelling. That may not be often as true in real life. I mean, that obviously is, but not as often.
So, Elden Ring is the newest FromSoft.
Well, no.
Did Armored Core come after?
Armored Core came after it.
Well, I'm hugely biased, and Armored Core is amazing.
I haven't tried Armored Core yet.
I'm so excited for when you do. But Elden Ring compared to the older series, where do you find you've enjoyed the most differences?
Well, exploration in Elden Ring is so much fun. And I really enjoy that aspect. It'd be hard to go back just because that exploration, that's awesome.
Yeah, you're right to say by dodge.
Yeah, and so I really enjoy that aspect of Elden Ring. And you do have it in some of the other FromSoft games. And the level intricacy in other FromSoft games is cooler. I gotta get out of the way. This is a bad. I gotta get out of the way.
That does so much damage too.
Yeah, but and I do like that of the other games. I think that's the thing you miss the most in this, right? Is you don't get into that level like you do, like just the undead bird, right? Like the way that it's intricate and things like that, because they don't.
Oh my gosh!
Now I'm in the heal lock, right?
Yep, the heal lock. Oh.
I can't punish him because I have to try to heal.
Yeah.
And they just get so fast in this DLC that they don't give you chances to really get away.
No, and that lightning spin into his big swing combo, that was just...
I would love to see them make a FromSoft. So they have gotten faster and faster and faster, right?
Yes.
That's just the way their design philosophy has gone from Dark Souls, right? Right. These days, the Capra Demon is slow.
Yeah.
Right. I would love to see them take the other direction and be like, we're gonna make everything, you and them, do a lot less damage.
Double magic open.
And then everyone does less damage, and you have to, more like I hear that. What's that game called? Monster Hunter is. Right?
Okay.
What can you do with a Monster Hunter style game in FromSoft styling, right? Where your bosses, there are more, you got to beat them over a long period of time.
So I've seen a couple of questions about this. Bloomborough, what are your thoughts?
Great aesthetic. I've only played it once. I really like the idea of like this is one that my nieces were like, we actually, I can't even do one.
Can't even do a single.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's my fault for not putting on a blue one. I went and added the buffs for Thog, but then I didn't change my flasks.
Right.
If I do that, yeah, he just falls down.
Ooh. Nice. I mean, in a crit, you could probably buff up to Golden Bow if you wanted.
Yeah, I could. But I don't know.
I mean, yeah, it's you take them.
Yeah. Do you take the hit or do you add the buff? The thing about, I will say, one of my things that I don't like about Elden Ring is the way they do buffs.
Oh?
Yeah.
Like, just in what way?
I think buffs should last longer and give you less. It's too easy to just put on some of the buffs that are very short term, and then trivialize some bosses. Like you can see them online, and I've had to do that with some of the rune level 1 stuff where I'm like, I thought I had him.
He saw it and just did the classic duck under the attack. Nice. I think he got it now.
Yeah, I should be able to hit him one more time. Oh, he's taking a lot less damage now.
I wonder if it's that.
I think. Yeah, come on. I think it's the thing that my crits with the jump attacks don't do as much damage as. Crimson 3.
That's surprising, and that's just straight up health, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that is straight up health.
Ooh, this is a good question. For new authors who want to keep their identity secret, going for like a pen name.
Yes.
What is the best way to go about it? So, from what you've heard from others.
So there's lots of cool philosophy of pen names among authors. Theory on pen names. So one theory is, to use your same first name and a different last name, so that when people call you on the phone, and things like that, you get used to you just using your name. Others say no, don't, because then when someone asks for you, if you are needing to be in your professional capacity or your family capacity. So I've heard both. People saying use your actual first name, don't use your actual first name. Generally, the consensus is you don't need a pen name, except for a couple of specific reasons. One is that you do not want your professional life and your oh great, I can't use my map because there's things here. And your personal life to intersect. For instance, a lot of people who are academics are like, I want when people search for my academic name, them to find my academic stuff. I don't want them to find my writing stuff. Or let's say you're writing something that you don't want people in your normal life to know. Let's say you're writing erotica, and you don't want the people that you meet to be like, oh, I'm going to go look them up on Facebook. Oh, dinosaur erotica, eh? Right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's a very common one. In general, people say, other than that, the only reason you really need a pen name is A, your name is Stephen King. You're right? And you're like, oh, well, that one's taken. Or, you know, something like that. My name is actually, it's Adolf Hitler. It's a very different name. And my family's very proud of it, but
a little too close.
Little too close.
Yeah.
And so, okay, this is just heading me back the way I came.
Yeah.
Is there a way through here? Or the one that I've seen the most common is you start a career and your career does not take off, and you don't want to be associated with the fact that your career has failed. So those are two reasons that you might want to, or several reasons you might want to use a pen name.
Right.
Honestly, it's not such a big deal. People are used to it. That if you just like the idea of a pen name, go for it. I've said before, I considered one, and I got talked out of it by my editor and my agent. They're like, why would you use a pen name? There's no reason for you to use a pen name. Just use your name. And so I did.
What would have been your pen name?
Win Sanderson, my dad's
You've
name.
got it, Win. Okay.
Yeah. I always liked my dad's name.
So I found out on YouTube that the G.I. Joe channel apparently just runs a 24-hour stream of just all of the old G.I. Joe cartoons.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, which
Nice.
I was like, oh, that's really cool. A thought came to me, though, as I looked at this and went, how does Cobra recruit people? How do you get,
How do you get recruited by Cobra?
How do you get recruited by Cobra?
Have you seen, let's see, is it a robot chicken?
Where
they're like, all right, so Lord Vader thinks he can choke people.
Right.
He has this. He thinks he has this magical talent. We don't tell him otherwise because this way, we just don't die. Like he thinks he's killing one of us. We pretend to choke, and then we send a guy back with a mustache next week, and everybody's happy. And Lord Vader thinks he has superpowers, and we don't get killed by him.
Right.
Maybe it's something like that where they're like, okay, you're part of the minion crew. You got to make these people think they're really awesome, but don't worry. You know, we actually will resurrect you, or something like that, right? Like they're all like, oh, whatever.
So here's a good question: what would you say to new writers? This is from NJ, who are inspired by your work, but have the fear of what I do won't be good, or Brandon, Stephen King, etc. did it better.
That is a very common fear. And I would call it legit because it's like a fear that every author has.
Right.
I'm afraid that I'm going to be too defined by my influences. And, you know, even, I mean, I have that, right? I wrote Yumi and the Nightmare Painter, right? It's pretty deeply inspired by some sources. It wears it on the sleeve, and I'm like, I think this story is awesome. I love this story, but does it have that? Is there an asterisk to it because I was deeply influenced in making it? I don't think so, but we think that anyway, right?
Right.
Like the things that we're worried were deeply influenced by something else, and it's all in a conversation. I say, start doing what you want to do.
Okay.
Okay, so maybe I have to go up this part here, and then I'll end up over there.
Yeah, cross the bridge.
Cross that bridge. And so do what you want to do. That you're never going to be able to get rid of that voice. But understand that professional authors, given the same prompt, will come up with wildly different things, usually. And it's okay to be influenced by the things that you love. If you're worried about unconscious influence, don't. Write your books. Your first one might be way more influenced by your by your inspirations than your later things, that's okay. My first book was way more influenced. Just don't publish your first one. Write your first one and don't worry about it. As you write, you will, there's this thing I've talked about before. As you write, the more you can pay attention to things while writing that used to be too hard for you to pay attention to.
So I find this one interesting for myself and for other aspiring writers. Separate character voices. Where did you find the most practical learning for, like, I want to write 3 different people
that sound very different?
Correct.
You start with descriptions, in my opinion. How are they? Because this is an age-old writing exercise that's really handy for learning this skill.
Okay.
And that is the one that I've talked about in my class. You have 3 different people. I guess I'm supposed to go this way first. 3 different people ride through town, quote unquote.
Okay.
Right? You pick a setting.
Ooh, interesting.
Okay. Yeah, I can't. This is.
I think you can make the jump.
No torrent area. Okay.
Yeah.
You have 3 different people ride through town, and you have them notice and describe things in different ways. Right? You're like, one person has a history as a. Who's there? Somebody's over my shoulder.
Oliver.
Ollie is over my shoulder. Somebody has an architecture background. So
Uh-huh.
here we are. And so they describe the architecture. Somebody is, is lowborn, and they notice, whether people have food and how the houses look and things like, how's the living conditions here. One of them is highborn, doesn't notice any of that, but it's like, where's the nicest inn, right?
Right.
And you do
The waterfall crossing.
yeah, you do this. If I could, yeah. Oh, I can just go up.
Yeah, I think
okay.
you're good. Okay.
And then you practice those descriptions, have them describe the same people in very different ways. And if you can get good at practicing that, then you can kind of move on to the way that their conflicts work, their motivations. Start working those into the ways they describe the world around them and what they think of like first. And then go from there to diction, right? Be careful about diction. You've been trained that smart people sound like Spock, and they don't. Smart people sound like Ken Jennings.
Gotcha.
And smart people use contractions. Smart people are not like, my analysis says this. Smart people use Simpson quotes.
Right.
But that's not all. That's not the only type of smart person. But be careful not to make all your smart people sound like Spock. Try to actually start listening and figuring out like what like complex sentences and ability to use rhetorical devices such as ending thesis statement in your paragraph, ending with a reiteration of it. Smart people will do that. They'll make their arguments. They're fast on their feet with explanations.
Right.
Right. Like learn those things. That'll help you way more. Right. Than maybe what you think.
So here's a question I think a couple people have asked now. Will Thog be making any other cameos, possibly in worlds of your own?
Oh man, maybe I should sometime. That would be. Oh, ooh, look. Ooh. All right. We're up for this.
A true duel.
A true duel. Oh, he's coming. Whoops. Oh, pushed the wrong button. Okay. All right, we got our swords back. Yeah. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
That's a lot of hit.
Oh, and okay, you're dealing with a Bonk magic user.
Yeah, he's cheating. He's cheating. Yeah, he's cheating.
Carrying knights.
Carrying knights.
Ooh.
See how much. Ooh, he does not go down easy either.
No, that's a brutal NPC.
Yep. All right.
Where would Thog even fit in the Cosmere?
He'd probably have to be on his own planet. Right.
So, for the fans in chat, are you more excited to go back to Elantris or the Mistborn?
At this point, I've been planning Era 3 of Mistborn for so long that I'm pretty excited by it. I am excited by Elantris, but Mistborn definitely.
Wait, are you at... Oh, you're in for a treat.
Oh, is this a hard boss?
All right, guys.
Okay.
Oh man! For those who played the DLC, we're at Rellana.
Get some aggro. Okay, good. Thank you.
Yeah.
This is like my helper is like the main lady, right?
Yeah. So this is Needle Knight Lena.
Yeah.
She was the one that sent us into the DLC.
Yeah. All right. I'm assuming there's a second form that's just insane.
I have no comment.
Yeah.
I'm just letting you experience this for the first time out.
All right.
And I think most of chat is just excited to see all this.
All right. Let's see what the second form is.
I didn't summon Needle Knight. This is it's cool to see her.
Yeah,
NPC
I really like to summon the NPC. Ooh, okay. Okay. I love the NPC summons because they make me feel like I'm more in the story.
Right.
Right?
And it's such a cool part of it.
Okay. You ready? Come on. Second form. Okay. All right. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Oh.
Oh, you can take the crit. Oh.
Great. Okay.
So, do you remember Pontiff Sullivan from 3? He's a similar kind of guy. You fight him in a church.
Okay.
So, a lot of people, at least us, is what I believe. Pontiff Sullivan is like
annoying.
Annoying.
All right, chat. We'll see you guys later. Take care. Thanks for hanging out with me. We'll do this again.